Hey everyone, and welcome to another lovely November's Day. Today we are continuing the theme with yet another lovely lady, I think. This is the Portrait of Pirates IRO Trafalgar Law, and if you don't know what any of that means, basically there's a line of figures called the Portrait of Pirates line, which is One Piece scale figures, and there's a subsection of those lines called the IRO figures. There's only two made, which is Trafalgar Law and Monkey D. Luffy. I reviewed the Monkey D. Luffy last year, and it's a very nice figure, and it's very confusing. But that was the second release in the set. The first release was this Trafalgar Law, and basically the IRO line are unofficial official figures where it's main characters or major characters designed if they were women. And it's needlessly sexy, but very, very, very cool. And I really liked the Luffy, and I was able to find the Law at not an insane inflated price like I see it everywhere. And I was able to get it at something reasonable. Not cheap, but reasonable. And so I thought I would have a look at it today, and what better time than November. So basically this is time skip Law if he was a girl, and spoiler alert, it's a nice figure. So taking a quick look at the box, you can see it's the very standard Portrait of Pirates design. There's a big window into the front and a bunch of promo images all around, different close-ups, different lighting conditions, and different coloring styles. There's no additional things to this figure, like no hidden gimmicks or swappable accessories. It's just a very static figure that you assemble by just taking it out of the box, plopping it on the base, and attaching the katana in a way that won't make it fall out. And there are grooves in the base to accommodate that, thankfully. So, taken out of the box, here is Trafalgar Law, looking very different to what we know. Now, I would say I'm not up to this part in the story, but this doesn't happen in the story. But I do know that this is Law's time skip design. So the coat and hat and rough outfit choice is Law's time skip design, and Law has foregone a shirt in favor of just the jacket, and they decided to keep that with this figure release. So she's got her chest for all to see, just covered up enough to be allowed on this channel, I would say. And yeah, it is very, very raunchy, but very, very cool. It's the very normal One Piece character design for women. It's either out of control beauties or the craziest body proportions you've ever seen. I mean, you could even say that the out of control beauties are also the craziest body proportions you've ever seen. One Piece gives with both hands, and it's very weird. But it is unmistakably a One Piece design. Generally, I saw the Luffy and a lot of like the Bashoujo gender bend type figures as what could or would happen if you sort of had a crossplay cosplayer sort of take an idea or take the foundation of a character and just roll with it. And I think that's the best way to sort of talk about a lot of these sorts of figures. That would this be what a cosplayer would do or what a fan artist would do when you do crossplay or gender bend type stuff? Would this be pretty accurate to what you imagine? And I believe this is pretty damn accurate, with it still retaining key features of the character. Like, for example, you can't put stubble on this figure. I mean, you probably could, but you can't because of the sort of aesthetic that they're going for. And therefore the face of Law looks rather plain in this regard. Like, it's cute, it's peppy and nice, everything like that, but it doesn't really read as Law because a lot of what Law's character is in his facial hair and the way his face is structured. But thankfully they've got the short sort of pixie cut, which fits Law's hairstyle quite well, as well as a slightly redesigned hat, which also works in favour of this design. You're like, oh, well, that's Law's hat, therefore this must be Law. But then there's also the other telling features, like the tattoos along Law's hands and knuckles, the tattoo on his chest, or her chest in this case, which draws your attention to other major facets of the figure. So it's a whole thing about capturing the essential detail to make you believe that this character is who they say they are. and I think that they do a really good job in that with the Shoujo Transformers line, and I think that they're doing a good job with this as well. The coat is 100% Law's coat. Again, I don't know all of the details about the design, but from what I've seen, this coat is incredibly accurate to the character. So I'm going to say that this is Law's coat unchanged. The katana is also Law's katana unchanged. Looks really, really good, especially if you compare it with the Playback Memories Law katana. They're pretty much one-to-one, which is really cool. I like a lot of the new details, like the more tight-fitting jeans. And something that is interesting where the Luffy changed Luffy's outfit to fit the new design. I feel like this outfit for Law is pretty much exactly what he wears, just sort of changed in size just a bit to fit the new body that it's on. So, like, the hat has been changed a little bit, the coat has been changed a little bit, the jeans have been changed a little bit, shoes have been changed a little bit, but it's all really what Law wears, whereas the Luffy was changing the blouse a little bit, but mostly changing the skirt and the sandals a bit. But in Luffy's case, it was they changed the sort of jean short type thing that Luffy wears to being a short miniskirt, and that was a complete change of the character. Whereas I think this one is even truer to them, because this is Law's katana, this is Law's coat, this is Law's pants, this is Law's hat. You can definitely tell that it's them. And the only original changes are the gender and everything that goes with that. So body proportions, nails being done, the cutesy pose, and facial structure, everything like that. I feel like it's just cool little changes that make the character read better, if any of what I just said makes sense. So, while I don't think there's a lot to talk about in terms of changes or anything like that, or their own unique spin on it, it's all just like, oh, what would this look like if we changed this aspect of the character or that aspect of the character? And for the most part, it's, like I said, quite true to Law. You've got jeans with the weird polka dots, you've got the hat with the weird polka dots. You've got the tattoos that spell death. And they even kept the time skip accuracy of the tattoos are on both hands instead of just one, because I'm pretty sure that was the case. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that that's correct. And yeah, just, it's a very, very well made figure. Great sculpting. I like the pose. It's very exaggerated, but also very simple. The waves and folds in the outfit look a little bit funny. The detailing on the hat is actually absolutely impeccable. The paintwork is fantastic. I was worried I'd have some issues or anything like that just because I bought this pre-owned, but no real problems at all. It almost made me retroactively want to buy a new IRO Luffy that is of a better sort of standard, because my one was broken off the base peg. But I thought that was an absolute waste, so I eventually just decided, no, it's fine, don't bankrupt myself, and just move on and enjoy the figures as they are. Now, I don't have the Luffy on hand to do a size comparison or just to see them both side by side, but I will try and throw up an image or something like that. And I think that this line has a lot of potential. It did stop some time ago now, because they only did 2 figures, and I'm going to take a rough estimate now that it was probably like 6 years back now, maybe even more, that they released these figures, and they still hold up really well. But the fact of the matter is that it's a dead line. They did it once as a bit of a joke, it did well, and they did it twice as, again, a bit of a joke, and just sort of left it at that. They're cool and fun little things that Mega House made many years ago, but I don't see them picking up the line anytime soon. It's a bit of a shame, because I think the idea still has legs. There's so many more characters you could get on this, and you could make a whole set of Straw Hats just swapped. Even a lot of the female characters swapped into men, just to see what happens. There's like some little post-chapter like Q&A stuff or sketches that Oda had done of the characters swapped, and it'd be really interesting to see if any of that happened. As far as I know, this figure actually ended up becoming canon in a way, because I saw a little spoiler that one of the chapters that I'm not up to yet, but like fairly recent, like in the last year or so, had Law actually change genders and looked very, very similar to this. So it weirdly became a canon figure in a sense. But it's just interesting to see something like this and to see it done so well for what is effectively a joke. I don't feel like there's that much to talk about really beyond it just being good. I can zone in on all of the tiny details, like how decals were applied, or how the paintwork was done, and all of that is fantastic, or how lore accurate certain parts are, but I'm not up to that part in the manga yet. But as far as I can tell, like, it reads as Law. I can tell that's Law's outfit, and that's Law's katana, and this is a close enough approximation to what Law would look like if he went under a little gender bend swapperoo. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a really good figure, really funny idea, and it'd be nice if they could re-release these to see if there is still demand for anything like that. But as it stands now, it's a cool, weird, and fun little time capsule, and I think now's a good time to talk about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.